Hihihi, tetap.
Iya, nggak bisa juga ya Pak Kris.
Iya, nggak apa-apa sambil nunggu IT. Lagi nunggu IT.
All right, everyone, we have 4 more minutes before we go live. You can use this moment to go to the toilet or stretching. And I'll see you in 4 minutes. We are now admitting the attendees, everyone. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, fellow lecturers. Good afternoon, students. Good afternoon, artists and participants from around the globe. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 2025 Media X Space Beyond Illumination Arts and Design Talk series. Today is a special day as we have the privilege of hosting two incredible sessions that explore the fascinating intersection of technology, community, and design. First, we will hear from Dr. Tan Yoon Yi, a distinguished expert from Multimedia University, Malaysia. Her session is titled Small Lights, Big Connections, Bridging Generations Through Inclusive Digital Making. Following that, we will transition to our second talk, Light as Message, presented by the esteemed Dr. Ferry Klimano from Indonesia. To kick off our event, it is my great pleasure to introduce our first speaker, T.S. Dr. Tan Yoon Yi, as a Deputy Dean and Assistant Professor at the Faculty of Cinematic Art at Multimedia University in Malaysia. Dr. Tan is passionate advocate for bridging the digital divide through inclusive digital making. In her presentation, she will share insights from her research-based initiative, Bengkel Teknologi Senior, a program that empowers older adults aged 55 and above by equipping them with essential digital skills. She will also introduce us to the Silver Lab, an intergenerational learning platform where people of all ages can learn from one another. Dr. Tan how these projects aim to build confidence, reduce technophobia, and encourage meaningful connections between generations, especially as Malaysia moves towards becoming an aged nation by 2030. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming TS Dr. Tan Yoon Yi. The virtual floor is all yours.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Pat. So
Pleasure.
let me share my screen. Oh, I might need your permission to share. Okay.
All right, already.
All right. Are you able to see it now?
Yes.
Yes, clearly.
Okay. So perhaps I can start. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for making your time to be here. So I'll be sharing a little bit of insights from my project. Therefore, the topic will be Small Lights, Big Connections, Bridging Generations Through Inclusive Digital Making from the case studies of my two projects. So these are the two projects I'll be sharing on, Bengkel Technology Senior and Silver Lab. So these two projects are actually being designed for the seniors who wants to care of us and our country. That's the tagline that we have whenever we want to design a new program or a new module for our seniors. It's always for them. So perhaps I can start with, by introducing how did all this initiative start, right? So like any others, I might not have much experience, especially in approaching the senior community before this. But it all started in 2012 when I furthered my PhD studies at the University of Hong Kong. So from 2012 and 2017, I was actively participating in the programs organized by the hostels, especially. So we will conduct visits to the public housing around our university or around our hostel area. It does not require much of technical skills. It's just going to visit them and have conversations, get to know them, like what are their interests, what are their needs, and we try to fulfill that. And in 2018, I finally graduated from the university. So it's time to go home, right? So to my surprise, in 2018, there's actually a lot of scam cases happening. So I think within a year, every month, you will see news, or maybe every week at that time, you will see news that, there are seniors, retirees being scammed, and it's not a small amount. They are like big amounts. So I was thinking, like what is currently happening in the digital world? Like, why is there so much cases? And at one point, I felt angry. I was thinking like, why isn't the government doing anything? Why isn't the authorities doing anything about this? Why aren't we helping them, preventing this from happening? But in the end, when I saw this quote from JFK, it says, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. So it shifts my perspective, like, instead of, blaming the government, blaming the authorities, blaming the people around you of not doing anything, why not you ask yourself, what can you do to make things better for the senior community? So I started doing research about the aging population in Malaysia, but this is the recent statistic that I got. So actually, our aging population has increased even in 24 compared to last 2 years in 2023. So that's why then I look into digital exclusion and the generation gap as well. So that is where I realized, there actually exist the challenges, where seniors actually face barriers of such as unfamiliarity with app, the fear of making mistake, they have the limited digital training, while the younger generation actually adapt more quickly. So that is why the digital divide is quite large. And the impact is we tend to exclude them from these essential services like the online banking, the healthcare, and also they will have the risk of social isolation. And I did the research on the levels of digital divide as well. So I found out that there's actually 3 levels of digital divide. Okay, level 1 is access, level 2 is skills, level 3 is utilization and empowerment. So level 1 access, it is more concerning on whether you have access to the internet, whether you have access to the mobile devices, do you have access to all technology devices. And level 2 is, okay, now you have the internet, now you have the devices. Do you know how to fully utilize the device that you have? And level 3 is you have the skills, you have the access. Can you do more with this infra that you have? Are you able to, generate income from home? Are you able to do online entrepreneurship and stuff like that? So at that point in 2018, I realized that, okay, maybe my capability would be on level 2. I am not able to cater much for level 1 because I don't have that much money to buy devices for everyone who does not have it. I might not have the resources to even install a Wi-Fi or internet to those places without. So I would focus on skills because it is highly related to my background as well as a lecturer. And I was thinking, okay, now what can I do as a full-time university lecturer? So I looked into my background. I actually did my degree in digital media. So I do a lot of graphic design. I do a lot of interactive as well. And then when I further my studies, I did my PhD in educational technology and instructional design. And that is where I get my experience on senior community work as well. And I believe that everyone has a role to play because, of course, the world is a better place when we work together. So I look into this collaboration model. Can we pool resources from different partners, for example, public institution, private institution, and also industry? So it could be universities, libraries, community centers, government agencies. The industry could be tech companies, telcos, software developers, service providers, or even device makers or device manufacturers. Private institution could be like NGOs, non-profit, private universities, even private training providers, private training centers, or even CSR of companies. And I look into creativity as the pedagogy for the program that I will be designing, because based on my readings at that time, it seems that arts, aging, and well-being is quite frequently being discussed. So it talks about how creative engagement could encourage exploration of new ventures and coping with aging. It could help this aging population to rediscover themselves and rebuild their identity. And also I look into how creative therapies work. So it actually highlights the positive aspects of aging and reduces stereotypes. It also provides psychological support for mental and physical condition, and it could potentially help older adults to face this unfamiliarity, including their technophobia, the fear of new technology. So with all these inputs that I got, I designed a program called Bengkel Technology Senior. It actually took me 1 year to design this program because there's a lot of challenges back then. There's a lot of stereotyping, like who would want to fund a program that is being designed for the elderly. If there are programs for the elderly, will they be joining this? So there's a lot of discussion going on, but eventually in 2019, I managed to get some funding to kickstart our program. So Bengkel Technology Senior is actually a digital literacy initiative that is designed to empower older adults aged 55 and above. So it is aimed to bridge the digital divide by equipping the senior citizens with essential digital skills. So we focus on these 5 key areas of digital competence. The first one is information and data literacy, communication and collaboration. Third, digital content creation. Fourth, safety and problem solving. But for my presentation, for my sharing session today, I'll be focusing on the area 3, which is the digital content creation. And later in 2022, we launched Silver Lab. So it's actually a conceptual idea of an age-friendly technology learning lab. It's a safe learning space for elderly to learn about technology. Because when I was, during the pandemic, I was actually volunteering at the vaccination center. That is where I met a lot of seniors. I have conversation with them. And I found out that they actually they are looking for a place for them to learn how to use technology, like a safe space. They are afraid to go to like, any shops, any service provider out there because they are worried that maybe the opinions could be biased to the service or the products that they are offering. So therefore, I came up with another proposal and we managed to get a funding to have this intergenerational learning platform. So in total, we actually have 200 plus participants so far since 2019. It might not be too much because at one time we could only have like 20 participants the max, because the way we structure the program is one volunteer should be catering for a maximum of 2 participants only. This is to ensure that the participants have enough support throughout the learning process. And in total, we have 15 digital literacy projects with 60 plus learning sessions. And we also started to design aging education projects that's for youth and younger generation. So this aging education project is more on sharing about, how does it feel to be old? What is the process of aging? Because we found out that maybe we need to give the younger generation more exposure about aging, like, are you afraid of aging? Do you realize that we are actually aging every day? Yeah, because like today we are older than yesterday, right? And in total, we have 29 plus digital literacy learning modules, where the majority actually is on Area 3, digital content creation, which I will be sharing on today. So far, the project has been featured in media, and also we have partnerships with various industry partners. And these are the screenshots from the programs that we have organized so far. Okay, then next I'll be talking about the inclusive approach that we have used in our program. The question that we have in mind is it possible for us to design learning for every age? What if, what you have this question of what if learning is designed for every age, will it make them learn better? Will we be able to support them better during the learning process? But first, of course, we need to do research about where do we stand. Like, is there any gaps on elderly learning research, specifically in Malaysia? Because the project is going to be conducted in Malaysia, therefore we will only focus in the elderly learning research in Malaysia. So that is where we found out about, okay, the digital gap faced by older adults could be more towards the second level digital divide. And in Malaysia, we actually have a lot of research about digital gap among senior citizens, but there are still limited research on their perspective towards the technology, the learning approaches that should be used, the instructional design that's been developed for them. And also, we do notice that these frameworks for digital competence exist, but there are few studies that actually focus on exploring their appropriateness for older population. So we design our program according to this context and objective. So it's really quite straightforward at that time. We just want to enhance their technological skills and competency. We want them to learn better by having a suitable instructional strategies. And we want to encourage them to use technology for communication, information sharing, and participation in the digital world. So our program participants consist of senior citizens aged 60 and above. And also we encourage pre-retirees, which is 55 years and above, because sometimes when we wait until 60, it might be a little bit too later for them to start learning. The earlier, the better it would be. And we use the snowball technique. So snowball technique means that we first have to identify where we want to conduct our program. We have to identify, okay, what they want to learn. And finally, we call for participation, whether it's online and offline. We could not rely solely on online because there are people that still rely on word of mouth, recommendation from friends. So sometimes in that type of community, offline could be a better approach. And we focus on these three approaches, which is the instructional strategies that we have designed. They are tailored to the older adults' cognitive abilities, their working memory, and also the sensory deficits. We focus a lot on face-to-face instruction and learning activities. We have a lot of questions from the public, like why did not you conduct this program online? Yeah, so based on our research, actually face-to-face instruction still works better for the elderly community. And the official language that we use during the workshop as the primary medium is Bahasa Malaysia, because it's actually easy for you to find tutorials or instructions on the internet in English. But at that time, tutorials in Bahasa Malaysia is quite limited. So we are working on a lot on that content. So the lesson notes and content are designed according to the instructional strategies, and we focus on intergenerational learning, where when we want to conduct the learning session, we have to ensure that there must be equal ratio of the young generation and also the elderly participant, because these age differences can actually enhance their learning experience and also promote active engagement. And of course, it has to be facilitated among the familiarity and also rapport building between the participants and volunteers and the instructor and also the environment that we are in. So this is the instructional strategies that we have developed in with a research student of mine. So it's basically focused on just 3 criteria. When we have instruction for the module, we have to make sure that it should be simple and meaningful. We have to make sure that we have clear and explicit learning objective. We provide a clear flow, and also we avoid language that using the jargon terms. Sometimes it might be normal for us listening to all these technical terms, whether it is, for example, how do you even explain internet to the elderly? Like, are you able to explain how internet works in a more easy way for them to understand? And the second criteria would be content to be learned. Sometimes too much content could cause them to be overwhelming. So we try to break down the instructional content into small, meaningful units with a specific goals. So for example, in this session, this is what they're supposed to learn. So we only focus on that instead of, putting on too much learning objective in one go. And of course, we will incorporate guiding images or videos to assist the learning process. For example, if we are teaching them how to use an app, we will try to include as much screenshot as possible for them to refer to. And also we will provide this learning module for them to bring back home. And we choose the appropriate font styles and size with the background contrast that they are easy to read. It's as simple as considering, are you using sans serif font or are you using serif font for the elderly? And on the application part, you have to provide ample time for them to practice for every unit of the instruction. We can't really wait until you finish all the modules, then only we have like 30 minutes of practice session for them. We won't have to practice with them as we go by the content itself. So now I'll be providing some examples from the session, focusing on the digital making itself. So far, we have explored digital graphics with them. This is the first workshop that we have done by using the Photoshop software and also the desktop. So the output is actually quite interesting because they actually achieve more than what we have designed in the learning objective itself. But after this workshop, we found out there's one major challenges, which is when they go home, they are not able to practice it because it is not common for the elderly to have PC or laptop at home. They are more comfortable of using their own mobile device. So therefore, after this module, the rest of our digital making modules are based on mobile devices, which is their handphones or their tablet. So this is the second module. Okay, then maybe we thought, because when we focus on software like Photoshop, it might require them to purchase the software. So what if we go, we move towards the free software like Canva? Like, although Canva requires subscription, payment on subscription, but there are ample of free templates and also free elements that they can explore on their own. So that's where we introduce Canva, and we encourage them to create their own e-greeting card for festive season. To think about designing learning sessions for the elderly, there must be a purpose, a meaningful purpose for them to learn that module itself. So this time we are giving that a purpose in conjunction of this festive season, whether it's Chinese New Year, whether it's Aidil Fitri, or whether it's Deepavali itself. We are giving them the purpose to design an e-greeting card for them to pass or to send to their families and friends. And also they can create their own postcard. They can craft meaningful message and send it to their loved ones. So this is where we actually combine the physical and the digital. So I think most at this learning session, during this learning session, the elderly really resonate with the action of sending postcard, because back then we don't have email, back then we don't have e-greeting card. So we have a lot of sharing session during, when was your first experience of sending a postcard to your friends, and they will talk about, how hard it is to communicate back then, but with the help of technology these days, the value is quite different. And there's also conversation happening between our volunteers and also our elderly, because some of our volunteers, they have not seen a postcard before, or they have not posted a postcard before, because it's no longer relevant to them at this time. And then we explored digital photography. So this is where we first introduced them to the camera functions on their digital device, and we started to introduce accessories like this light box. So we are telling them, no, you don't have to rent an expensive studio to get a good photo. You can just purchase this light box from online platform like Shopee, and it's quite affordable, where you can start taking pictures of the items that you cherish the most, of the items that maybe you want to put it up for sale, for example. And this is where we work a lot with product manufacturers, service providers. Whenever they have this latest feature launch, or for example, in this photo, Oppo is introducing their new AI feature. So they would like to have the sharing session with the community. So that's where we have this sharing session between the industry and also the community itself. And digital storytelling. So we share, how do you document your daily experiences using your own mobile device? How do you edit this video with the free editing tools? And you can actually keep these memories, or even you can share it with your friends and families. And the most recent one that we have was the 3D object scan activity. So at one point, we think that it's quite important for them to at least have a digital version of the keepsake, that's something that they want to keep, or maybe pass on to the next generation. So this is where we have this 3D object scan activity. They will bring something from home and they will keep it in, we will have the scanning activity together, and then we will preserve it in the video form. So on the final thoughts, it's actually, technology is always there, regardless of whether we want it or not. It's always there, and it's always advancing without waiting for anyone, right? But it's not just only innovation. We have to think about inclusion as well. When we come up with a new idea of technology, or even a new innovation, are we thinking about sharing this with the elderly as well, or even with the underprivileged as well? So are we looking forward towards this direction? So why the project matters is that through this project, we realize that we can actually bridge two needs with one effort. One is on helping them to overcome the technophobia, but also through the interactions of the younger generation as the volunteer, and also the elderly as the participants, it could actually bridge generations, and it helps to overcome a lot of stereotypes along the way. So we believe that this project actually has two impacts, right? So it helps the seniors to gain digital confidence, creativity, and new skills, and also it helps the youth to develop empathy, patience, and also learn heritage stories from the elderly. because what is most valuable about our senior participant is always their tacit knowledge. They have so much experience, for the past years that they have been serving the country, for example, for the past years of working, they have so many knowledge that they could share with our youth. So with that, we are able to build a stronger intergenerational bond in our community. And in 2021, our project is actually being highlighted by the World Health Organization, WHO, as one of the objectives for achieving the vision of healthy aging. So our program is highlighted under the objective 4, which is fostering technological and social innovation to promote healthy aging. So this increase our confidence to design more learning programs for the elderly, which means that perhaps we are doing the right thing right now to help the elderly embrace technology better, and also to enhance the well-being of the elderly. So the United Nations actually called for digital equity for all ages in 2021, but we believe like 4 years later, in 2025, it still matters, because right now we are still talking about digital literacy and skills development for all ages. And we are still talking about how do we promote intergenerational solidarity. And we are talking about universal access to technology. When you design something, is it available to all? And we're talking about age-friendly digital environment. Like, are we catering just for the school students? Are we catering just for the university students? Are we considering the elderly as well in this perspective? So it's always good when, because I think we have a lot of students here in the room, when you want to design a new initiative or an intervention, it's always good to align your goals to the global efforts for a more inclusive and equitable world. So this is what our project focus on, which is SDG 3 and SDG 4. And I'll be sharing a little bit about the challenges. So actually the biggest hidden barrier, this is something that we might not realize. That's why I call it biggest hidden barrier, are actually the stereotyping. So throughout our years of conducting this project from 2019 to 2025, we always face these 6 key challenges, which is the stereotyping of, assumptions of inability. So what if the seniors, when they come to us, they already have this idea of older adults cannot learn new technology. So they're actually underestimating their capacity to learn more. And sometimes the overprotection could come from the family members, the children, the friends, like they would think that, oh, technology is too risky for seniors, you will be scammed. So as a result, we do have family members of our participants, or even friends. They would discourage their elderly to attend our program because they thought that, oh, you might not be able to handle this, you might not be able to explore the app yourself. What if you click wrongly and you lost some money, for example? And also homogenizing the elderly. People will always think that all seniors are the same, but actually they are not. So it often overlook their differences in ability. So unlike the younger participants, for example, when we are dealing with school children, they might be less prior experiences compared to elderly. So therefore, when you deal with different types of learners, you have to note that they actually come from a diverse background, they have different needs, and also they have different interests. And also ageism in partnership. These are the challenges that we get the most when we try to approach whether they are industry partners, a private institution, or public. They might have this stereotype that seniors are actually not our relevant user group, because they already see them as non-consumer of their services or even their products. So they would often hesitate, okay, should we support your program? Are you bringing enough ROI to us and stuff like that? And lastly is on self-stereotyping. Okay, what if they say, I'm too old to learn this? It reduces their self-confidence and increase their anxiety. And also this intergenerational gap perception, whether it's for the elderly or whether it's for the younger people, they might think, okay, technology is only built for the young. Is it true, like, or is it because maybe the advertisement or even the promotional of these devices or services are more focusing on the younger generation compared to the elderly? So as a result, the seniors, they actually might feel excluded. Sometimes they're embarrassed, or maybe they're too shy to ask when they want to learn about digital skills or knowledge. But anyway, one step at a time, we will eventually get there. So at first, when we started our program in 2019, we thought that it's going to end just that, maybe just a one-off program. But eventually, as time goes by, and especially when the pandemic hits, that is where we realized that, okay, there's actually a lot of elderly who still need this type of programs to help them cope with the digital advances better. So I think that's all for my presentation. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, Miss Yun. Thank you, Dr. Tan, for the incredibly insightful and heartwarming presentation. Your work truly highlights how technology can be a powerful tool for connection and empowerment across generations. Before we move on to our panel, I'd like to ask a personal question that your talk prompt.
Yes.
First, your passion for this work is truly inspiring. Could you please share us what initially triggered you to do what you're doing and what continues to drive your commitment to this cause?
So
Yeah.
actually, I think it relates very much to my personal experiences. You know, I grew up very close to my grandmother. So when I was doing my PhD in Hong Kong, like, I think I've been missing home much. So that's how I started to get involved in all these volunteering initiatives. So as I talked to the elderly, I felt that maybe I'm much closer to home now. And that's it, it is also where I realized, oh, we as the younger people, we do have this thing, this stereotyping going on. Like, we thought that they are not interested, but actually they are. So there's this case when I was visiting an elderly in a public housing in Hong Kong. So, you know, the housing area in Hong Kong is quite small, right? They actually live in a 400 square feet room. That is their home. 400 square feet room is their home.
Wow.
So this I would call her auntie. This auntie is actually bounded to a wheelchair. So every day she relies on volunteers to send food 3 times a day to her. So, and during the conversation, I was asking her, "Oh, do you know that we actually have a service like Grab Food?" And I will be
Right.
sharing, you know, I show this. We can order food. You can order what you want to eat, because she said like she wouldn't know what she would get for the day. It depends on what the volunteer send on that day, right? Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So that's how I share. Okay, when you have these apps, you can choose what you want to eat, and the people, someone will deliver the food to your door. And she just said one sentence, you know, I might be interested to learn about this, but there's nobody there to teach me.
Oh,
So that's where I found out, okay, so we actually forgot about them. Like, we thought that it's something intuitive. Like, for us, it's intuitive. We know how to install it, and immediately we know
right.
how to watch tutorial and know how to use it, right? But we forgot that there's actually them who requires extra instructions or require extra guidance on how to get them on board first, the onboarding process itself. So that's how I have the idea, okay, if that is happening in Hong Kong, of course it's going to happen in Malaysia or even in Indonesia, in other parts of the world as well. So when I came back from Hong Kong, I have this determination, and also with what's happening with all the scam cases, and
Right.
that's the time for me to start doing something.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the share. And because we have time limitation, I will continue to the respondents. After the respondents, we will continue to the Q&A session. So now I would like to invite Mr. Cristiano Rusli from the Interior Department.
Halo,
Ah,
halo Mem.
hi, Pak
Hai,
Chris.
hai Dr. Tan.
Thank you
Nih,
for joining us, Pak Chris. In the interior design, it is about creating spaces that serve human needs. So Dr. Tan's work focuses on designing inclusive digital spaces for the elderly. How can the principles of creating user-friendly digital environments be applied to the physical design of living space to better accommodate the senior population?
okay. Yeah, sometimes like Dr. Tan said, sometimes elderly, we all always forgotten them. Yeah. So maybe like applying a principle in a user-friendly, I think like accessibility, like the auntie in the Hong Kong apartment, maybe intuitive layout, adaptability, safety features, and comfort and well-being. So this the like a principle for us for comfort them as elder people. Yeah. So the benefit of the let's say for the application for the principle, maybe like a wide doorways, maybe a non-slip floor for the interior, my site, yeah, for interior design program, maybe grab bars and handling, adjustable countertop, maybe, so it's not danger for them, maybe, yeah. So the smart home, like for technology, maybe we can apply like a voice control lighting, so they don't touch and switch every stand up and go to their switches, gitu ya. Smart thermostat maybe or medication reminders. It can be for them also, and fall detection. If there's something happen with them, maybe we can detection them fall or not gitu. So the benefit increase safety, enhance comfort, improve independence. So consideration user friendly for us maybe, yeah, and integration and customization. Maybe this for like element for us as an interior designer to think about the principle for applying or for s- solve the problem of the elderly. I think that's it, Pat.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chris. It's for the sharing. It's definitely important for us all who have elderly generation in our house for taking this into consideration. Thank you
Yeah,
so much, Mr. Chris.
thank you.
And we are now we'll move to Mr. Hagung, if Mr. Hagung is here. All right, I don't think Mr. Hagung is here. Maybe we can continue to Miss Azalia. I think Miss Azalia is already in the meeting room.
Yes.
All right. Ms. Mukransyah, film and storytelling are powerful tools for creating empathy and understanding. So Dr. Tan's presentation showed us how technology can bridge generations. How can the medium of film be used to tell the stories that encourage intergenerational learning and break down stereotypes about the elderly and technology? What do you think, Ms. Mukransyah?
Okay. Thank you for that thoughtful question. But I think film plays a key role in how we represent people, right?
Right.
In media, especially in this case, older generations, with the relation to technology. Sometimes, too often, the screens show them as resistant or like confused, right? Like showing them that they cannot understand what new technologies are, for example, or maybe left behind by the newer generation, a younger generation, right? But if we shift the representation on screen to show how older people as maybe adaptable or curious or maybe capable of learning, we can challenge those stereotypes as well. Of course, in reality, sometimes they are confused. Even I feel like sometimes I'm too old for new technologies. That my child is very adaptably used in his everyday life, right? But I think film can represent the relationship between generations and not just the difference, right? So by telling stories where technologies become a bridge rather than a barrier, then we can allow audiences to see generational learning as natural and maybe enriching. For example, in my own practice, I often use film as a way, a gate to open up conversations. So when young people and older audiences watch a film together, then discussions can follow as the discussion that follows can be as important as the film itself, right? So in that sense, the medium of the film is not just about the representation, but also about creating moments of dialogues across generations. So to me, film can break down stereotypes by refusing one-dimensional portrayals and instead creating complex human histories that invite us all to learn together from one another, no matter our age. So I think that's my response.
Wonderful. I think we hope to see film in Indonesia and Malaysia starting to incorporate all those considerations. Yeah, and maybe you can start because Dr. Tan Yunyi and Dr. Azalia, you both from same department. Maybe the collaboration can start for the
Yes,
film
sure,
to start.
definitely.
Yeah, for the
Yep.
okay. We can now continue to Mr. Sri Herlambang from the New Media Department. Mr. Sri Herlambang, I think your department works with emerging technologies. So Dr. Tan's research highlights the importance of making technology accessible and inclusive. What role do you see new media technologies such as VR or AI playing in the future of intergenerational learning and social connectivity? Mr.
Okay.
Srihaman,
Yes. Okay. Can you hear me clearly?
clearly.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Thank you for the presentation. It was very interesting to see how elderly can be contributed through
Right.
design and of course technology. But I think the important thing is about design in technology and elderly is about function, clarity, empowerment, and empathy that can work in especially in digital environment is about digital inclusion, which is really important to consider like the visual elements used, how friendly this is, how contrast the colors, and I think also for elderly because a lot of things are new for them, so I think visual helped by the advancement of technology can help to create training materials that is friendly to you for elderly, so they can have the social connection better. They will have emotional well-being also better gitu ya. And then this of course can contribute also to the wisdom to be passed on to the younger generation. I think that's it.
Wonderful. So
Thank you.
for our we are continue to Dr. Sari Wulandari. Miss Dr. Sari Wulandari from the Department of Master of Design. From master's perspective, you are concerned with the future of design. Dr. Tan's work showcases design as a tool for social good. What major opportunities or challenges do you see for designers in applying inclusive and human-centered principles to address global issues like the senior population? Dr. Sari? Dr. Sari? All right, I think Dr. Sari is not in the room right now. Maybe we can go to Sir Wilden first from the Graphic Design and New Media Department from the International Program.
Hi, hello.
Hi, Mr. Will. Your field is at the core of visual communication. Dr. Tan's projects are designed to be accessible. How can a graphic designer's superpower be used to create intuitive and welcoming digital interfaces that help eliminate technophobia and build confidence, especially for a non-digital native generation?
Okay,
All
so
right.
from her story about the older generation and how they like the first response that I heard from that story was that I want to, but nobody's there to teach me how. And this is very
Right.
resonant to,
Right.
for instance, my mother is a bit old, and she's trying to learn how to use like Grab. It's just for moving around, for getting food and the such. And nobody's there to teach me how to do it. And obviously, if I'm around, it's going to be easier to do so. But I can't help but think that I think somehow if there are, for instance, certain apps like YouTube and such, they have children's mode or something. I can't help but feel that maybe in some apps there we can design a way for these apps to have like an elderly or a non digital native version of it, where
True.
things are explained a bit easier for them. Icons are bigger, for instance, and easier words used. You know, like sometimes what does this mean? Why does this go? Where's back? You know, like, and inputting all that stuff. And I feel like that's part of the visual communication designers' job, sort of, or responsibility to do this. Because again, in design, obviously, one of the things that we teach students is that when you're designing something, you won't always be there to explain to the market, this is this. You know, it has to speak for itself. And so apps need to do that as well. Apple has done such a great job in creating their iOS to be so intuitive to the part where they don't, you know, give out instruction manuals when they sell their products. Why can't we start doing that for other things that is clearly being used by everyone? Like the simple things like sending things, grab send, grab food, and so on. So I think that one day we need to consider that from the designer side of things. I think that's pretty much it. I don't know.
Brilliant, Sir Will. I think
Thank you.
the senior mode is looking forward. Yeah, we're really looking forward for the senior mode, hopefully. I think it's important. And we are still waiting for Dr. Sari. I think she's here right now. Hopefully.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes. Hi. I'm sorry.
Dr.
My
Sari
there's trouble.
Wulandari. No worries.
Yes. Hi.
Lastly, from the Master
Yes.
of Design perspective, you are concerned with the future of design. Dr. Tan's work showcases design as a tool for social good. What do you think major opportunities or challenges do you see for designers in applying inclusive and human-centered principles to address global issues like the senior population?
Okay. Thank you, Pat, for the question.
Thank you,
Hello,
Sari.
Miss Yoon. It's very amazing project. Very interesting and very useful. And also it's warming my heart because I'm 55 years old. So I feel that it's related to me. Your project's very related to me. I think first of all, I would like to share a little bit testimonial as elder, because some elders or senior citizens, sometimes they feel neglected, especially when their physical abilities begin to decline, as does their memories also. Moreover, they are aware that nowadays digital technology that has developed so fast, sometimes it's too difficult to follow it in their everyday life. And I saw that Bengkel Technology Senior Project that was worked out to bridging the digital literacy gap so the elders can remain relevant in society. In today digital technology, even there are a lot of scam around them. But I think this is so important, either for elders or young people. Yes, because I think both of them can learn each other when elders can share their experience, their wisdoms, and young people can follow the wisdom from elders about history or mythology or context that can enrich young people. Yes, I think for designers, it's important to applying inclusive and human-centered design, especially when we respond the aging population. The challenge for designer, I think, is they must have empathy and expand their patience extra. I think this is very challenging for young people, designers, but very interesting. Designers should have sensitivity on how elders think, what they are concerned about, and what values they believe. Therefore, it's necessary for designers to study the culture surround elders so we can understand and empathize with them. So we can get what elders really need, and we can find a right way to solve their problems and how to deliver the project appropriately. In your project, I saw that you bring few stages carried out in your project to guide the elders in an easy way and fun way so that they feel convenience, not feel intimidated by the sophistication of the technology. And that's how the empathize work. And I saw many elders like together with old friends or communities in a simple way. They like to make pictures and sharing by WhatsApp or Instagram, make reels, post in story, give likes and comments. Yeah. And they can connecting each other by digital. Moreover, you encourage them to do their hobbies with digital technologies like make greeting cards, yeah, that could make them happy. And we know that happiness is an important thing, that especially for elders to keep them healthy. Yes, I think it's very amazing project, Miss Yun. I'm sure they will be very grateful for your project, and bless you and good luck for your next project. I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sari. Thank you, everyone. I think not that isn't the last respondent, yeah. Respond from our respondents. I think we still have one more slot for the respondent here. Pak Hagung, I think, is here now. Mr. Hagung. Mr. Hagung is, I don't think he's here. All right. I think thank you all for thank you to all the respondents for the thoughtful insights. Now I think we can continue to the Q&A session from the audience. For those of you in the audience, please feel free to submit your question via the Q&A chat feature. All right. Is there any questions from the audience? All right. I have another question actually. Ms. Yoon, during your research, I mean during the Benkel Senior Benkel Technology Senior activation, what do you think is the challenge here, aside to what's mentioned? I mean, during the activation in maybe how do you conduct the activation? Because
Okay. So
yeah,
besides having the
the
stereotypes
limited,
and whatnot, I think
the stereotypes.
the another bigger challenges would be our resources, right?
Right.
So because we operate as a project, so every time when we want to organize a workshop at a certain location, we have to consider, our logistic. Are we able to bring our volunteers there? Are we able to get a space for a learning? Are we able to, get fundings for the learning materials, for example? So I think most of the expenses will go to the food and beverages and also the learning materials, because when you want to make a learning environment conducive for the elderly, especially it's a 1 day kind of program, we
Right.
would try to minimize them, having to go out to purchase their own food and then come back to the location, because it will require more energy to do that. So we try to provide as much as we could. We try to provide the whole day meal and also the learning materials. We do have question like, why didn't we provide ebooks, for example, instead of printed learning materials? So the truth is, when you have ebooks for the elderly, again, it is not common for them to have multiple devices. They will
Right.
have to view the ebook on their device. They will have to use their device to learn how to use the app. So it requires more hassle for them to close the application, open the ebook, and then close the ebook, open the application. So in the end, we just decided, okay, all learning materials should be printed, because they are more comfortable that way. They can make notes in case they forget something. They can make notes easily on the paper, and then when they go home, they can still practice with their device and also with the existence of the learning material. It felt like like something comforting for them to have something to refer to, so that will reduce their anxiety of not being able to remember things sometimes. Yeah. So the biggest challenge would be on the funding, the logistic, and also when dealing with elderly, especially, we have to consider their energy level, I would say. So we
Right.
try to not like what I mentioned earlier, we try to minimize the need for them to go all around, and also we try to minimize the risk of fatigue. So it's actually quite impossible for us to design, for example, a 5 days program back to back, or even 4 days. The maximum we could go to maybe is only 2 or 3 days back to back program with them, because based on the feedback that we get, more than that will require more energy, and it will like cause them to fall sick. They will have more fatigue going on with them. So that's why when we design all this, we try to consider all this, the resources that we have, the time limit that we have, the volunteers that we have. So when we conduct workshop, we even consider, okay, we should get volunteers from the location instead of us bringing the volunteers from our side, because it would be more comfortable for the community as well to have someone that they know to teach them how to use the technology. So we would
Right.
conduct trainings if we have to provide enough support to the community. We would provide trainings to the volunteers. This is the approach when you want to teach the elderly to use technology. This is how you can do things, stuff like that. Yeah.
I see. So I think this is a brilliant program, but we all know we all have problem with funding, right, Ms. Yoon? Especially during your first launch of your project. How do you convince the university that this is a university project, right? Or this is
Yes,
a
it's a
how do you convince? I mean, yeah. Can you
like
share this
to be
part a bit?
to be honest, at that time we didn't
Ah.
even get the funding from the university.
No.
So because the allocations are quite limited, right? So of course they will
Understood.
have their priority, which project they
Understood.
would want to fund. So our project was not in the priority, I guess, but it doesn't mean that you should stop there. So what I did was, that's why it took us 1 year for us to kickstart the program. So what I did was, I just write a proposal of it, and then I start knocking on doors, going out asking industry, are you willing to fund this as your CSR project, and convincing them on the value of the project. But eventually it will goes to whether the value of the project aligns to the value of the industry partner, for example. And eventually we managed to find a supportive partner, Amans Media, which is still they have been funding us all this while since 2019. So we have been working closely with Amans Media. Amans Media, it's a digital content like media company. They write a
Right.
lot of reviews about devices. They write reviews on tutorials and stuff like that. So that's how we approach. They have this tagline, membentuk community berinformasi. So that's how we convince when you talk about membentuk community informasi, are you being inclusive to the community itself? So that's how we try to fill in the gap of the company. So I think that matters the most, like whether your value aligns with all the collaborators, whatever partnership that you want to have. Yeah. So that's how we manage to secure our funding. Whenever we want to make our program, we just have to find, you cannot be shy. You have to keep on knocking on doors. Are you willing to fund our program? This is
Amazing. All right. There's still no question on the audience. I think they are still mesmerized by your presentation. So maybe, okay, let me check one more time. Oh, there's one question from Rahma Juwita. Maybe Rahma Juwita can open your mic and ask the question live.
Hello.
Hi, Rahma. Silahkan.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just curious, how would you keep up with the activation results? Like, how do you evaluate every activation that you did so you will have better closure to the elderly in the future activation? I think that's all. Thank you.
So how do you evaluate, Ms. Yun?
Oh, okay. So before we start the program, we will have a pre-survey, like giving them a pre-survey, a form to be answered. That's where we measure, okay, their experience. Did they have experience with computer before? Then there's a few questions on what are the activities they've done with the computer. Then they have experience with social media, for example, what are the things that they've done with social media and also with their mobile device. And at the end of the program, we give them another form to see if there's improvement, like previously this is what the perceptions are, or if previously they have not done this before, but after that, is there any improvement? Is there any difference between, the before and after thing? So that is how we evaluate whether they have, if there's any improvement or increase of digital literacy from the project. Yeah.
I hope that answer your question, Rahma.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Is there any more question? Maybe from the respondents? I think there's probably question from Mr. Will. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm enjoying the conversation.
All right. So Miss Yun, I think looking to the participants now, waiting for the participants. We're waiting for the participants for the questions. Maybe I have one more last question. So what's next for Bengkel Technology Senior?
Oh, what's next? Yeah, of course, we would want to design more learning modules for the elderly. Like as of now, throughout the years, we managed to get actually maybe like around 30 learning modules that we have for them,
Wow.
focusing on different competence area. But it's also about the question of will there be a day where we are no longer being needed, for example? So technology is always there, right? It has been advancing every day. I think even the modules that we have created today, if the application has an update tomorrow, then our module is no longer relevant the day after because there's an extra feature on that application. So there's an extra icon if they added an extra function and things like that. So it's very hard for us to keep one module and use the same module throughout the years with the same, for example, of using Grab. So it's a continuation, it's a continuous kind of effort. I think another challenge of this would be consistency that we should be considering on, like, when we have a full-time job, like you, like me, and other lecturers, we have a full-time position as a lecturer in the university, right? But we still try our best to find time to do these community engagement projects, so that whatever that we've been practicing in the university does not only benefit the students or the community in the university, but also outside. So I think what's next is the question of how can we reach out to more participants? How do we make Silver Lab or even Bengkel Technology Senior more known to the public? Or even if they do not sign up for Bengkel Technology Senior or even be in Silver Lab, there are other maybe initiatives that could inspire from our project, and with that they could have more projects, more Bengkel Technology Senior alike projects out there. So it's about making lifelong learning on digital tech a common thing, whether it's in Malaysia or it's in Indonesia or even in other ASEAN countries. Yeah.
Definitely. So we hope for more initiatives like Bengkel Technology Senior here in Indonesia, hopefully, and maybe Silver Lab. We can work together with Silver Lab for the initiatives in Indonesia, hopefully.
Yes.
All right.
Sure.
All right, we are reaching the end of the session, everyone. Again, thank you for brilliant responders and audience for the great discussion. And then after this, we are going to have a 10 minutes break. And then we will back shortly for the session, the second session with Dr. Ferric Limano. Thank you again. Big round of applause for Dr. Tan Yun Yi for her incredible sharing session today. And hopefully we'll get to see you soon on our exhibition, because Dr. Tan Yun Yi will be one of the invited artists for our 2000 Media Space exhibition, which is going to be commenced on two places. The first one is on the 18th at CG's Gallery, and the second one is on the 20th at Binus Digital Alam Sutra Campus. So hopefully we will be, Dr. Tan Yuni will be joining us in the opening of the exhibition on the 18th. So see you very soon,
See you
Dr.
there.
Tan. Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much for the opportunity.
See you. Hope to see you soon. Thank you, Dr. Tan. All right, we will continue the session on 15:30, everyone.
Okay, bye.
All right, see you in